and this evening our focus is on the biggest global live story that's playing out. A massive, unprecedented, historic outage globally that's left us all feeling like we're in an apocalyptic world, like it's the end of the world. A Microsoft outage has led to banking services, flight services, transport networks all crashing. Media networks are also down globally. That's what we're seeing across the world. Here in India too, the impact being felt largely at airports across the country where multiple flight cancellations have been reported. I'm going to be running you through all the live updates on the impact of the worst IT outage in the history so far that's playing out live right now on your screens. Let's begin with the headlines. Global IT outage cripples services worldwide. Indian and global airlines hit Microsoft cybersecurity firm bug behind outage. Microsoft says resolution is forthcoming. Mega India Today impact. UPSC files FIR against IAS probationer Pooja, says she attempted exam fraudulently. Cops book her for cheating fraud sections. Kanwar Yatra diktat showdown escalates. Yogi government asks all eateries along route to display names. Opposition says Yogi is promoting bigotry. BJP allies from LJP's Chirag Paswan to the JDU condemn. Scam heat mounts on Siddaramaiah Sarkara. BJP hits the streets in protest again. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah claims Valmiki funds were looted during the BJP tenure and not by the Congress. An emotional Donald Trump recalls shooting horror, reiterates hand of God saved him. Trump calls Biden the worst US president ever.
I will tell you exactly what happened, and you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell.
And Bangladesh is on the boil. Over 30 killed, thousands injured in protests against the Hasina government's job quota system. Army deployed now nationwide. It's been over 6 hours now since the world has been crippled by a massive Microsoft outage like nothing we've ever seen before. Global services as a result has come to a grinding halt. Domestic international flight operations have been hit globally, luckily not in India, but globally banking services, payments have been impacted. Also, media networks have completely shut off, going completely off the air for the last 6 hours and counting. Microsoft at this point in their latest statement said that we're working on a resolution, but they haven't really given clarity just yet of how much time it could actually take for normalcy to return. You can only imagine the level of losses being reported across the world right now. In India, we are seeing the impact largely on flights, but globally, it's extremely overwhelming to see what's playing out right now. Ayush Elavadi, our tech editor from Business Today TV, is joining us on this broadcast. Ayush, 6 hours and counting. Who would have thought it would take this long for, the cybersecurity vendor of Microsoft to fix their bug? Does it look like we could expect a solution anytime now? Because like I said, we cannot even begin to imagine what an impact this is having globally and the kind of losses it's reporting.
Absolutely, Akshita. Very, very unfortunate series of events that unfolded. But just to clarify a couple of things, we reached out to Microsoft and CrowdStrike to just figure out what really happened. And in this case, Microsoft said that they are aware of an issue that is affecting Windows devices because of a third-party software, which is Falcon Sensor software. Now, who came up with this software? It's a cybersecurity firm called CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike also issued a statement. And that statement essentially said that, yes, we know this is impacting Windows devices. Their CEO said this actually, George Kurtz, president and CEO at CrowdStrike. And he said that Mac and Linux devices are not being impacted. But he wanted to clarify that this is not a security incident or a cyber attack. It is only a system update failure. Now, it all started, Akshita, early on in the day, in the wee hours of Friday morning for us, when this update was sent out onto Windows devices. So that's the real connection with CrowdStrike and Windows, that they chose to roll out this update to Windows devices, and after that, all hell broke loose. And yes, this has brought systems to a standstill all around the world. The only real question is, what was plan B all along? CrowdStrike issued a fix, which was quite simple. So it's the IT teams that have gone in overdrive, but what about the legal implications? Who's liable for all the damage that's been caused, for the billions of dollars that are lost in the bargain?
And I think to really understand what kind of losses we're talking about, it's going to take a couple of days at least to figure that out. Ayush, speaking about what's really happening right now in India, look, globally we're looking at banking services taking a hit, payments being completely halted, transport networks have completely crashed, coming to a halt right now. In India, largely the impact is being felt at airports, ground services in airports being hit. But beyond that, the SBI, the NSE, they've all issued statements saying, look, we're doing okay, we've not been hit by this outage. Explain that for us. How is it that India hasn't been affected as badly as in America or a UK?
Well, Akshita, that's a very interesting question, which would require some deeper introspection. But at first analysis, what I can tell you is that this CrowdStrike solution, this cybersecurity solution, in simple terms, is like an antivirus software. Right now, whoever's using some version of this antivirus software has been impacted, that too with a Windows device. Now, other reasons could be that maybe they were using a different cloud solution provider here in India. Maybe we had leveraged our risk. And like I said, it's not just Microsoft who offers these cloud solutions. It could have been maybe we're using Google or Amazon Web Services. It could also be that we have very cogent, strong cybersecurity solutions in place, which are other alternatives to CrowdStrike. So there are a bunch of reasons. And look, we are tech savvy, and we've discussed this previously through the course of the day with our reportage here at India Today, that at the end of the day, we've seen how resilient we are as a people as well. There were manual boarding, handwritten boarding passes being printed, even here at all our top airports. I mean, look at the inventory we're dealing with at Delhi and Mumbai, and still we managed to do it. So I think that there is frugal innovation involved over there as well, because it's not, we are impacted. It's just that we find solutions in frugal and more innovative ways.
I think hat tip to the personnel to immediately figure out how to address this crisis. Yes, we're seeing delays. Yes, we're seeing cancellations. But look, compare it to what's happening globally, where most countries have grounded their flights. We're still ensuring that to some extent there is normalcy, that passengers don't face that kind of a crippling situation. So in that sense, India's faring much better and also dealing with this crisis perhaps much better than several other countries are. Fortunately, we haven't seen the kind of mega mass impact also that other countries, at least some of the countries, are seeing. We've also got all of our reporters spread out across different parts of the country at different airports. Saurabh Vakhtania is joining us live from the Mumbai airport. Shilpa Nair is live with us also. She is joining us from Chennai. We've also got Cyrus with us. Cyrus John Mutulali, editor of Emerging Tech with IndiaToday.in. Cyrus, I'll just come to you. I just want to get a report first of what's happening on the ground at different airports across the country. Saurabh, to you first. Several flights, we're being told, have been cancelled at the Mumbai airport. Passengers quite disgruntled as well, but there's really nothing that personnel can do at this point at these airports.
Well, absolutely, Akshita. Let me tell you, it's just an helpless kind of situation. We are right now at the Mumbai International Airport, and look at this situation right out over here. This is one of the busiest airport, and let me tell you, at every 3 minutes, a flight takeoffs and lands over here at Mumbai International Airport. There is so much of crowd over here, and at every gate over here, you can see that how there are long queues, and people are actually suffering very badly. And this is just the situation right outside the airport. These are the main gates, Akshita, and let me tell you, the situation inside is still worse, because at the boarding gates of all the flights and airlines over there, there's huge crowd, and people, several of them are not aware what is the status of their flight. Let me tell you, Akshita, I just spoke to a person who had his flight to Nagpur. It was an Indigo flight, and he passed through this particular gate. He took the boarding pass. The security checks happened, and while he was just about to board the flight at that particular time, at that particular moment, he was told by the airlines that the flight is cancelled, and he had to come back. He had a very important in meeting. And this is the situation right now because people are not being updated. They are not getting the timely messages through the airlines as well. So this is right now a chaos-like situation. Right now over here you can see that there are the CISF officials who are tirelessly working out and guiding people to show that wherever there is less queue, they can go over there. But here people, you can see they are standing in long queues. This is not just at this particular gate, but once they pass on to inside this particular airport at Mumbai International Airport, then again there will be long queues for the boarding as well. Then there are the security checks, and by the time several of people have missed their flight already. So situation right now at Mumbai International not going well right now. People are coming over here. They are not very much informed. Once they are coming over here, then they are getting to know that their flight is delayed or their flight is cancelled. So it is going to take a long time, Akshita, when things really come back to normal.
There's a backlog, of course, that will have to be addressed, which will lead to a further delay of many flights. For all of our viewers out there, if you're going to be catching a flight later today, remember you have to reach the airport much earlier. Entering the airport, that particular software has crashed, so that's happening manually. Check-in happening manually, security happening manually, so you can only imagine how much time it's going to take at the airport. Add to that, your flight may be delayed, but that's just a chance you'll have to take if you're catching a flight today. Shilpa Nair is joining us live from the airport in Chennai. Shilpa, any cancellations reported in Chennai?
Well, Akshita, confusion prevailed at airports across the country, and the situation here in Chennai is no different. In fact, we've been here for the last 3 to 4 hours. The situation was much chaotic earlier. It has eased up a bit is what I would say. But even now, you can see the kind of, there's a long queue of people waiting to get information from the counters, from the airline counters about their flight status, because several flights have been delayed or cancelled. In fact, as far as the Chennai airport is concerned, the update we got from the authorities here is that 10 arrival and 11 departure flights were cancelled today, and 12 arrival and 20 departure flights have been delayed so far. So all of these passengers are waiting in queue just to get an update from the airline staff as to what is the next course of action. Will their flight be rescheduled? Will they be given a refund? What are the options that the airlines are giving to the passengers? All of this, of course, will be discussed. I'm just going to speak to some of them here. Sir, how has your flight been impacted today, sir?
I am supposed to go to Coimbatore from Chennai at 6 o'clock by Indigo. The Indigo staff itself, they are not aware of the cancel of flight. Okay. There is no alternative arrangements. See, disaster can happen in any field. I am from hospital industry. I am in KG hospital. I am proud to say that we faced the COVID situation very effectively by India. Through India, every other country has learned. But this is a small situation where they would have managed well. There must be a plan B. If plan A fails, there should be a plan B. I don't know why it has not been analyzed. The risk has to be analyzed and it has to be taken care.
Did you get any update about a refund or any flight that is being rescheduled to take you to your destination? Anything that has been communicated?
Forget about the refund, madam. There is no aware of the staff about the cancellation of flight. I need to update them. There is nobody is available to answer our queries. Now they say service up. They could have operated the flight by delayed 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't know, it has not been arranged, and if we go to the counter, they say the ticket is 16,000 rupees, which is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Government has to look into this.
What passengers right now are going through. Passengers waiting for hours together only to be told that there's nothing that any of the airlines can actually do to help. So it is a difficult situation that many of them find themselves in. And of course, they're waiting at those airports for hours together. Cyrus is also with us, tracking all the latest with regards to this massive global outage. Cyrus, 6 hours, I'd say even longer than that if you actually look at when Microsoft started actually glitching in several parts of the world. 6 hours plus and counting right now. We got the last statement that came in that said that a fix has been deployed. What really does that mean in layman terms? And does that mean that in the next hour or so we could be seeing resumption of services?
Akshita, is just more about understanding how fixes happen in Windows ecosystems. You get a fix for your Windows, there are certain problems in your Windows file, and this fix happens not immediately but in phases. So the fix that we're talking about here is basically going to happen in phases, not going to be immediate. Now, while the company has said that the fix has been released, it's just about a couple of hours because the magnitude of the problem is such that they cannot just sit on it. So while the company has said that the fix has been released, I think it will be a couple of hours. It has to be coordinated between Microsoft and other companies. So make sure that all of the patches are being fixed in the system. Because see, since the update is being released in patches, is not going to be immediate. We can expect at least a couple of hours till the entire ecosystem kind of gets a fix for this problem.
Okay, Cyrus, thanks very much for joining us with those details. Cyrus explaining to us that it's not really a snap of a finger solution. This is going to take time, but at the same time, with every single minute, I dare say with every single second right now, we're talking about a massive loss globally, and the estimates could run to billions at least at this point. So we don't know really, and possibly a few days from now, we'll know how this has really impacted the economy as well. I'd like to thank all of our reporters for joining us. We've given you a sense of what the impact of this outage has been in India. Let's talk global right now, because the impact in several of the biggest cities of the world is far, far worse. Airports have taken a hit. Flights essentially have been grounded. Major airlines have said, look, we can't fly in this situation. We can't do our check-ins. So they've stopped flying out completely. Let's begin with a report from London's Heathrow Airport. Lavina Tandon filed this report for us.
I'm outside the Terminal 3 Heathrow Airport, and as you can see behind me, a lot of people at the moment have gone inside, but these people, mainly from American Airlines, have been majorly impacted by this Microsoft tech outrage, and many of them are coming here and they do not know what will happen and whether they can be put up in a hotel. I just spoke to an old couple who are sitting outside behind there, and they are trying to find a hotel because they do not know how and where they can stay for the night because their flight has been cancelled. Similarly, that's the situation with a lot of people who are going to Denmark as well. These are the people that I have spoken to, and if I could take you inside to show you the kind of queues that are here at this point in time. Now I'm just trying to go inside to show you that. If you give me a sec, just see behind me the queues they're going to outside, and this mainly for the American airline, but then otherwise there are many other airlines that are being impacted, and people are not being given a hotel or help with all of this because their systems are absolutely down. So people are having to just sit down like this, if I can show on the sidelines, and figure out their life as of now. So in the UK, it's health services, the GP surgeries, the airports, some of the rail stations, and not all of them though. This is quite interesting because, and also something to be noted is that not every airport or every place has been impacted. Internal systems are okay, sort of, in some places, but when it is something to deal with outside, like a business to consumer, B2C, that has been impacted a lot. So GP surgeries, therefore the appointments of the patients, etc. And here the flights, the payments. So it's not all the airports, but definitely London affected, Heathrow affected, Edinburgh affected, Manchester it seems is okay, Glasgow it seems is okay, but Heathrow, you can see, is majorly impacted. London for India today from Heathrow Airport, London.
Australia, too, one of those countries that's been very, very badly impacted by this global outage. Let's take a look at some of the reactions that came in from passengers who were stranded at the Sydney airport.
Our flight's been cancelled, so now we're trying to find accommodation in Sydney, which is not easy. Our daughters are trying to do that online, and then we'll have to try and get a flight home somehow, somewhere, sometime, don't know.
It was very chaotic, so whoever arrived here, they had no idea what's going on. I mean, this is the first time like I experienced something like this. So I saw everyone checking with staff member like what's going on, What's the next move?
It was so busy, we didn't know what was happening, and we understood that there was a problem with the system. So we've been waiting until they told us the flight was cancelled. So now we are trying to book another ticket for tonight, but they're $600. So I gave up.
Earlier, I also spoke to a cyber expert, Kanishk Kaur, to understand really why this outage has happened. Could it have been avoided? Should there have been a plan B? Interestingly, Kanishk also joined us from an airport where his flight was delayed. What we're seeing right now is unprecedented, almost apocalyptic in several countries across the world. And the question everyone's asking is, how long is this going to take? How long are we going to see this kind of an outage?
Hi, Akshita, thank you for inviting me. I think it's going to take minimum 2 to 3 hours for this to get resolved. It is a major security lapse that have happened on the side of CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is a major cybersecurity company which provides endpoint security solutions and security monitoring. This issue is with respect to their Falcon sensor, which is providing security on Microsoft. So wherever CrowdStrike is deployed on Microsoft systems, the systems are crashing, and it is happening globally across banks. It's happening at hospitals. It's happening at airports. I am at an airport, and there is a major disruption here as well. The company CrowdStrike, its shares have gone down by 18%. It is listed on NASDAQ, so it is not an issue with Microsoft, but with CrowdStrike, which is used for providing security solutions on top of Microsoft. So any company which is today using CrowdStrike on Microsoft systems is seeing their systems appearing blue. The systems are not able to boot. Normally, such disruptions take bare minimum 4 to 5 hours. Companies invoke their BCP plan, business continuity plan, to ensure there is continuity of operations, and disaster recovery methods are created to ensure that there are mechanisms put in for resolving this. Microsoft and CrowdStrike will have to work together to ensure that systems are live, up and running, but you will see major chaos, which is going to happen across airports, across retail shops, across banks, across IT companies, which are using companies like CrowdStrike for security.
Explain to us also, Kanishk, at this point, look, internationally, globally, we're seeing banking services being hit, transport networks that are down, flights, as we mentioned, media networks that are down. In India, relatively, it's not been as hard hitting. It's been, yes, flight operations which have taken a hit, airport services very badly affected. But beyond that, we don't see the kind of widespread impact that it's having globally. Why is that?
See, this is where security is required. Security is normally required on critical infrastructure. So critical infrastructure includes your banking, which includes your airports, airlines, power systems, hospitals. So wherever there are critical systems, you would see security systems of CrowdStrike getting deployed, particularly the CrowdStrike sensor systems, which are Falcon sensor systems, which are getting deployed. So anyone who's trying to access will see a blue screen. So major IT service providers which are using CrowdStrike would have disruptions, which could be companies like Tech Mahindra, HCL, Infosys, Wipro in India. Globally, companies like Accenture, Deloitte, they would see disruptions when they are providing services to airports, when they are providing services to airlines. You would see disruptions happening for large data centers, which will include NIC, a data center, which is government's data center. Telecom service providers will also see an impact because they also would use CrowdStrike. So wherever security is critical and company like CrowdStrike fails, you would see systems getting disrupted and blue screens appearing. So that's one of the key issues.
All right, we're cutting across to big breaking news that's coming in. SEBI has now responded to Rahul Gandhi's market manipulation charge after an investigation. Sources telling us that SEBI has confirmed that no, there was no market manipulation and insider trading on exit poll day as alleged by the Congress. SEBI has sought data from all market infrastructure institutions. The SEBI had analyzed the data and found nothing, has found no proof of any sort of malpractice. Aishwarya Paliwal is joining us with more details on this. Aishwarya, this was a charge levelled by Rahul Gandhi. Soon after the elections, he had in fact held a press conference where he had claimed that there was market manipulation that had taken place. SEBI saying there's absolutely no truth to that. Any reactions that have come in so far politically from the BJP and the Congress?
Well, Akshita, let me tell you that we don't have any reaction coming in, but it was not just Rahul Gandhi. In fact, TMC, that is Trinamool Congress MP Saket Gokhale, had also raised the fingers at SEBI and raised the fingers at the markets and said that there was manipulation that took place. And they were also saying that all the companies who were involved in exit poll, all those companies have made large amounts of money, and with, not just them, but also a lot of politicians have made crores of rupees. These were the allegations that were being made. Let me tell you, the SEBI has gone through all the data that they got. All the data has been analyzed, and now a very thorough report has been made by SEBI. The crux of the report, the summary of the report, Akshita, is that after the analysis of the data, the SEBI has come to the conclusion that there was indeed no manipulation that took place on the day, on the exit poll. Not 2 days before that, not 2 days after that. They have gone through the data of the entire week, and the conclusion has now come out. The conclusion of SEBI is that there was no manipulation that took place. Akshita.
All right. It'll be interesting to see the political reactions that come in with this news break. SEBI confirming that no, there was no market manipulation, a charge that was levelled by the opposition at the BJP. Thanks very much, Aishwarya, for joining us with all of those details. We'll track that big political story very, very closely. The Kanwar Yatra is embroiled in controversy this time, and that's because Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has issued an order saying all shops along the route that the Kanwarias take, the devotees take, will have shops that display the names of their owners. The opposition has said this is a bid to target Muslims in the state. Several BJP allies have also said that the Yogi government should do a rethink, that this is not an okay move. We'll get you all the reactions in our next report.
Now, not just Muzaffarnagar, but the entire Kanwar Yatra route in UP and Uttarakhand will need eateries, handcarts, shops to display the names of owners. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has issued an order directing all shops on routes taken by covered pilgrims to display the names of the owners. Many shops have already started displaying names of their owners. This tea stall in Muzaffarpur was called Chai Lovers Point earlier. But after the diktat from the administration, the shop has changed its name to Vakil Ahmed Tea Stall.
कुछ दिन पहले तक ये चाय लवर्स पॉइंट हुआ करता था। खतौली मुजफ्फरनगर वाले हाईवे पे एक चाय की दुकान है छोटी सी, लेकिन अब उसका नाम बदल गया है, वकील अहमद टी स्टॉल हो गया है। ऊपर देखेंगे तो प्रोपराइटर वकील अहमद नाम दिखाई देगा।
In another instance, Sangam Shuddh Bhojanalay became Salim Shuddh Shakahari Bhojanalay.
सरकार अपनी जिम्मेदारियों से भागने का काम करती है और फिर इधर उधर की बातें करनी शुरू कर देते हैं। कांवड़ियों के लिए तो हम लोग हमेशा स्वागत सम्मान और सब जगह शिविरों के अंदर काम सारे मुसलमान नहीं करते रहते थे। कोई मुसलमान और हिंदू की नफरत है कहीं, तो ये आप नफरत की बात जो कर रहे हो इससे कोई फायदा नहीं, और कांवड़ी के वालों के ऊपर इस पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। हमें आपस में मोहब्बत प्यार है, मोहब्बत प्यार रहेगा, आपके एजेंडे से भटकने वाले लोग नहीं है।
Priyanka Gandhi also tweeted calling the move unconstitutional. Uttar Pradesh Minister Kapil Dev Agarwal alleged that Muslims under the garb of Hindu names are selling non-vegetarian food to pilgrims.
विशेष रूप से देखने में ये आया है कि कुछ लोग अपनी दुकानों के नाम, ढाबों के नाम, रेस्टोरेंट के नाम हिंदू धर्म के नाम पर लिखते हैं, और जबकि चलाने वाले उनके मुस्लिम लोग होते हैं। मुझे यहाँ तक भी कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। दिक्कत यहाँ आती है कि जब वो अपनी दुकान में नॉनवेज बेचते हैं।
The Uttarakhand government too has made it mandatory for shop owners in Haridwar to display their names.
उस दिन हमने निर्णय किया था, क्योंकि इसके पीछे हेतु यह है कि अनेक लोगों ने इस बारे में कहा है कि बाद में कई बार बहुत वैसी स्थिति पैदा होती है कि नाम बदल के लोग जो है अपनी पहचान छुपा के जो है दुकान खोल रहे हैं या कोई अन्य कारोबार कर रहे हैं, तो ठीक नहीं है। सबका आइडेंटिफिकेशन होना चाहिए। जो भी है अपनी पहचान छिपाने में किसी को क्या दिक्कत है।
while shops along the Kanwar Yatra route through Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh will need to comply with this. Now in order, and not just an advisory, NDA ally JDU has refused to comply with it in Bihar. As the Kanwar Yatra route enters Bihar, the diktat will not hold. The Yogi government decision has seen the first big split in NDA allies.
इससे बड़ी कांवड़ यात्रा बिहार में निकलती है, वहाँ इस तरह का कोई आदेश नहीं है। और फिर प्रधानमंत्री जी की जो व्याख्या है भारतीय समाज के बारे में, एनडीए के बारे में, सबका साथ, सबका विकास और सबका विश्वास, ये लगाए गए प्रतिबंध इस नियम के विरुद्ध है।
मैंने कई एमएलओ के भी बयान पढ़े हैं, सुने हैं, मिनिस्टर भी बोल रहे हैं, क्या शराब पीने से धर्म भ्रष्ट नहीं होता है? मीट खाने से होता है। तो ये शराब पर पाबंदी क्यों नहीं है? ये शराब पर क्यों नहीं बोलते हैं लोग? चूंकि शराब का जो कारोबार करते हैं वो एक नेक्सस है और वो बड़े लोगों का खेल है, और ये छोटी छोटी दुकानें जो गरीब लोग लगाते हैं सिर्फ इन्हीं पर उंगली उठाने का काम है। मैं कहता हूं मेरी मांग है कि शराब भी बंद करो।
LJP's Chirag Paswan slammed the diktat, saying, "Don't support any divide on caste and religion." Kanwar Yatra is set to begin on Monday. The religious festival this time is mired in a political, religious, communal and a constitutional storm. Bureau Report, India Today.
And the political showdown is peaking as sources have said from the BJP that the name diktat was actually okay during the UPA rule. Now, BJP sources have said that the UPA made displaying names mandatory first, and that the BJP is now only carrying forward that particular order. Aishwarya Paliwale is joining us with more on this big news break. Aishwarya, give us details really of that order that we're seeing on our screens. Which year was this? And we understand that according to the BJP, it was the Congress that actually brought this first.
Well, Akshita, let me tell you what the BJP is saying. They are saying that it was Sonia Gandhi who was leading the NAC, that is the National Advisory Council, and way back in 2006, that was the first time when this rule came in, and then there was an amendment made to it, and later in 2011 also there was a slight amendment which was made to it, but the rules very clearly said that now all the owners will have to display the names outside on boards. They will in fact not just be able to do that, they will also have to give permission to authority to inspect what they are cooking and how they are cooking. So all those things, the BJP is saying that it's politics that is being played now just because it is a UP minister who's now speaking all those things. Someone from the Bharatiya Janata Party is endorsing this, but these rules were very old and in fact were brought in at the advisory of NAC, that was the National Advisory Council, which was headed by none other than Sonia Gandhi. Akshita.
Interesting. Aishwarya, thanks for those details. I want to bring in Amit Bharadwaj, who's joining us live from Muzaffarnagar. That is the district, of course, where it all started off, where the diktat is already in place. Amit, you've been getting us multiple reports showing us how names of shops have changed now. The owners' names have come in. They've changed the names of the shop also based on the owners' names. But the BJP is saying that, look, this order was always in place, that it came in first in 2006. Is that true? Were there already owners' names mentioned on boards, or was it simply not followed up till today?
Akshita, when we move across the country in any eatery or dhaba for that matter, what was the custom was that you used to have a certificate or the license details being displayed right at the counter of any eatery, dhaba, restaurant. Yeah. That was the norm and it was pretty usual. Anywhere, any restaurant, dhaba which had the license would display those details. But in UP, the case is different, and that is why the BJP government in Uttar Pradesh has also tried to make it into a narrative. And when the Muzaffarnagar administration passed that, advisory, it was followed up by the CMO today, the Uttar Pradesh CMO, and it looks like that the order has been issued for entirety of Uttar Pradesh wherever the Kanwadiyas would be moving. Now, what is the difference? Initially you had a laminated license details at the dhabas, reception counters or the billing counters of dhabas. Now, right at the entry point of any dhaba or restaurant in Uttar Pradesh where the Kanwadiyas would be moving, the name of the proprietor has been written. Second, the ground reality is quite different from the narrative that is being peddled. What is the ground reality? For instance, when you come from Delhi, head towards Muzaffarnagar near Khatoli, there was, until a few days back, it was called Chai Lovers Point. The name of that dhaba has been changed to Vakil Tea Stall. That's a big change. We went to another dhaba called Babuji Dhaba. The owner belonged from a Muslim community, but he had only one name, Babu. There was no surname. Now, as per the administration instruction, they had to put up a flex reading Babu Khan proprietor's name. So a surname has been added, and the Hindu staff at the dhaba is afraid of losses, revenue losses, as well as safety concerns during the Kanwar Yatra. There's a third dhaba on the way from Muzaffarnagar towards Haridwar, which is where the Muslim staff has been sent on leave. Another dhaba from Haridwar towards Muzaffarnagar, the leaseholder is a Muslim. He used to serve at Kanwar Shivers every year. He's saying that this will lead to revenue loss, safety concern. He's saying that, yeah. So
no,
all that is the ground reality.
Amit, from all the examples that you've told us and all the interactions you've had with the locals, whatever the intention, forget the political fight for a second. From what you're telling us on ground, it is creating a sense of fear. There is a sense that this could lead to more violence. When the step being taken, the administration says, is to ensure there's no violence. People on ground, the shop owners, the people who work at these eateries are worried that this could actually have the reverse effect of creating violence on ground. Let's hope that's not the case. Thanks very much, Amit, for joining us with all of those details. The Kanwar Yatra showdown, something that you're going to see snowball, no doubt, over the next few days.